The Republic have been unsuccessful in their attempts to repel the aggressive offensive the CIS have maintained towards the core worlds. With only Fost and Coruscant standing as main bastions left for the CIS to take, the Republic are now stood in dire straits. It appears the iron hand of the CIS might finally tighten its grip once and for all over the galaxy at large, and put an end to the Republic and its democracy once and for all. Hello everyone, welcome back finally to Star Wars Empire at War. Do apologise for the massive hiatus, been moving house, it's been a very stressful time, but we're back in action today. And this is going to be a super long video by my reckoning because we are going to move for a final campaign of victory today. We are set for a massive task ahead of us, but we are very well positioned to do so. We have recently taken Kuat, so you can see we're just about to complete the Kuat drive yards. The dreadnaught tier shipyard there is also going to be completed fairly soon. And of course we do have to make sure we have built all of the necessary ground structures, but we are also primed to remove units on or above Alderaan. This is very likely the final fleet, apart from what is quite likely over Coruscant. From memory, they have all of their remaining active heroes around Coruscant. So what do we want to do for a final campaign victory today? Well, that's not actually going to be going for all of these remaining Republic planets. What we're going to do is we're going to try and take Fost, capture the dreadnaught tier shipyard there, and try and go for the optional victory conditions there the mod allows, which is of course take all capital dreadnaught tier shipyards on the map. And Fost is in fact the last remaining of those now that we've taken Kuat. We might decide, just for the sake of it, for some fun, for a really hard, massive final battle to do the siege of Coruscant. Whether we decide to land and take Coruscant or not, we'll see, because we might get scared off by any heroes we see there. Let's in fact create a probe droid immediately to do so, and we'll just remind ourselves exactly what sorts of ground and orbital units we have over here. We might as well consolidate these two defensive fleets into Juaningo's fleet, which is already standing at a very healthy 506 population cap there. So we'll have massive carry capacity and firepower in that one fleet there, as you can see. But as far as ground forces go, we do have Dooku, Ventress, we do have lots of armour and infantry over here, as well as some good gunships, as well as a massive stockpile of these tactical droids, which is brilliant. Do have some Hellfires and such over here. Massive army of 51 pot wasting, and that's of course going to be what we need to bring over for any ground invasion in the meantime. So that's worth noting. We do of course have a secondary fleet over here and over here over Kalura, just to guard over here. But I think what we'll do is we are primed to take Kurita, and I believe we finished the previous video by saying we will take Kurita pretty much immediately. So by my estimation, we'll be dropping off on this southern sector down here, so we can push straight for the planetary shield generator there. So we do want largely anti-infantry weaponry, which is not a problem at all. They do have some good marine platoons here. And they do have a couple UT-80s as well, which aren't too much of a bother. So I think we'll bring in, of course, this unit. And with the J1s and AATs, that really should be all we need. So let's bring that in immediately. Press unpause and resume. We'll go over to that. So we have landed exactly where we thought we would. And of course the map is looking rather large now, which is not a problem. Certainly not a problem. Let's start with we'll go with some B2s. AATs aren't the greatest of options, despite bringing them down already, because those UT-80s do pose quite a threat. J1s, quite likely good for them, or certainly good for them. And do we bring in just more chaff to soak up some fire? Or do we bring in some crab droids to really deal with those clone troopers? Of course, Mandalorians would also be very useful indeed. I think we're going to bring in the Mandalorians, just because we haven't really got too much use out of those recently, have we? Move out here, get a military field base going. And we'll just create, I think, some anti-infantry turrets over here. Lovely stuff. So, yeah, the plan goes straight up here for this 5-pop cap, and we'll go over to the planetary shield generator there. Lovely stuff. Get some sort of semblance of formation going. Get the Mandalorians in the back line here so that they can protect the J1s a little easier. So we've made first contact with some speeders. Let's get some cover going with our troopers there. We've got some flame troopers coming in, but it is these speeders that are the problem at the moment. We know they're absolute nightmare. And that's just some minor platoons gone there. We do see an SD Hulk droid. Lovely stuff. We get our AATs onto that. How are we doing over here? Losing our chaff. That's absolutely fine. That's their job. Just struggling a bit with the terrain there, apparently. So we'll come on over. Actually, let's just bring these couple units over here because we're being attacked in the flank once again by some Marines. Absolutely fine. Do we see... We don't see any UC-80s just yet. Wasting a bit of our infantry there, unfortunately. Let's bring this AT group over here. Do see a lot of infantry coming in here, and now we're seeing some saber tanks coming out from the enemy garrisons. Not a problem there. We do see UC-80s coming in, so we get the J1s particularly onto that. AATs can deal with the unshielded group here. Now we have actually lost a fair bit of infantry, so this is not going our way. Certainly not going our way. Pushing these up far too much there. Lost sight on that unit there, so that might actually go down now. They're very, very fragile. You can see we're burning off a lot of rust here. Absolutely fine. Let's come with some artillery. That'll really help us against lots of J1s. Absolutely massive miss micro there to lose all of this already. Rather nasty indeed. Rather nasty indeed. Okay, let's stand over here next to the turrets we've placed. And I think we'll start with some more of these B2s and some more B1s just to soak up more fire. Absolutely not a problem. So, embarrassing start. Certainly an embarrassing start. Should not have happened. Should have been a lot more defensive. Sat the J1s back over here, perhaps, knowing that there's a good chance of being engaged over here. And just being a bit more patient. Use our range to our advantage, as we certainly should do with those J1s. But we have many to spare. It's absolutely fine. Let's group these, and we'll group the J1s once again. Lovely stuff. And what we'll do is try again. We'll regroup over here. Try and pull back down here. In fact, what we'll do is we'll turn this into a healing station. Try and get some minor heals off. Quite likely we'll probably die on the pullback there. Yeah, it's quite possible. We'll just bring these up. These are only garrison units for ourselves off of the pop cap. We've got some ARC troopers there. Let's focus those over here. Get the dwarves onto... Yeah, that speeder is down. Lovely stuff. Push up a little too much again. We do have our reinforcements over here, which is excellent. Get a few units of chaff to guard the flank there. You can see some clones coming in. Really struggling with the accuracy here against these enemies. Just going to barrage them through there. Not watching out for the wrist rockets, are they? Do need to push up now with here, because we've forgotten those. That's absolutely fine. And there we go. See some speeders coming through once again. Rockets will deal with them very nicely indeed. So, what are we seeing now? Just more speeders come out. These would be garrison speeders. And we'll just take some time to push up once again here and just consolidate. Heal where we can. Do need some healing down here. And now we have our artillery set up. This push should be much easier, much easier. Do have sight onto a Hulk droid over here. Hopefully the mass drivers will be able to deal with that from the J1s. Yeah, very nice accuracy on there. We've lost another one. Oh, we're being flanked once again by this bloody UC-80. And that is just... short-term memory is what we have there. Okay, not a problem. Get the artillery on that, pull back with a few wrist rockets, pull up over here to finally capture this command post. We'll be absolutely golden there. So, okay. So the UC-80 does only have a couple AI blaster cannons. Wrist rockets should be fine on that. Finally taking that down. They do have a second one somewhere. Really rushing into here. We're going to have enough people there. Let's try and get our artillery to help. Lovely stuff. Infantry and artillery, excellent combo. Really pulling us through a lot of our battles in this campaign. a lot of rust is being shaved off today, but we have secured this command post, and that will do very nicely indeed. What do we want to take now? We do still have another UCAC to deal with, so I think we'll bring in more infantry to deal with them. And actually some dwarf spiders would be great, and we'll bring some more chaff just because we want some boots on the ground. Lovely stuff. And we'll group these together. We lost the J1s, so put those at number 1. Actually, I'm thinking the wrong one there. That's okay. Make this number 2. We can bring this up over to these pads over here to provide extra range for us. Actually, a rather large map with a lot of narrow lanes. Pathing is always an issue in this game. Here we go. More infantry about. Taking the cover of the woodland there. That's standard infantry there, not clones, all good. Wait for the artillery to pop up over here. What do we see? Another UCAC. Okay, let's just pull back, set up the artillery there, because that's exactly where we want it. And what we'll do is, I would love to get these on its flank. Would be great, that was the plan. They do have some extreme range, as you can see here, but so does the UCAC, and that will pretty much one-shot our Hellfires there. Let's try and make use of this lane here. Okay, let's bring the Hellfires over here. Terrible micro. Terrible micro. Let's bring the crabs over. Let the artillery deal with these, I think. Lovely stuff. Crabs. Keep an eye on these. Push up to the flank. Okay, where's our chaff? Push this through. Make that take the fire. Struggling with an anti-tank weapon. Please just speed through. Don't quite have the speed we thought we did. And that might be a few lost Hellfires there, just because of that. And the UCAC is taking shots there. Okay, this is just going terribly now. Push through the flank there then. Force it to face its flank. Let's go through. And look at that. Absolute waste. Absolute waste. Try and get this down at least. Very heavy losses for what should have been a fairly easy battle. Absolutely disgusting. Yeah. Unacceptable. See the cruel we're moving at here. Not using the ideal firepower that we need to. Okay, let's get our dwarf spiders right on top of this. Not proud to show those results. Absolutely not proud to show those results. Absolutely terrible win there. But apparently we had a mission to take that, which is absolutely fine. So we've got a Sub-Earth Destroyer now over Corrida, which is absolutely fine. Certainly take that. Hopefully future space battles go a bit better. Yeah, lovely stuff, just getting that over. So we have scouted out Coruscant. We can see there's just everything over there, really. They don't have ground to orbit weaponry. They don't have a hypervelocity cannon there. So they're definitely going to have massive orbital platforms there. So it might be worth just doing that just for the flavour of and for the fun of sieging Coruscant, but I don't think we'll be brave enough to land, especially since we really struggled on Corrida there. Absolutely appalling results. Send all your hates in the comments. But we will also scout out Fost to make sure we know what's there. And I think we'll finally go for the siege of Alderaan as well to catch this fleet before it picks up anything too nasty there. So we are in fact going to converge with these two fleets here. We'll pull back Count Dooku. Make sure we have a Pathfinder as we need there. We certainly do. With all of that carry capacity, 26 carriers in one stack there. Absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Just double check exactly what's going on at Fost. And I think we can just merge these two now. Because why not? Really hemming them in. Yeah, Fost should be fairly straightforward. Rather open map there by the looks of things. If we're reading this properly. So what's happening over here? Same thing again. No, send stealth to Kuat. We've got that. And we've scouted Fost. Capture... Okay, so at Tinner we have 2 captain munitions carriers. Interesting. Tinner is down here. Lovely stuff. Bring that over. And we'll just make sure that's not flashing. I don't like seeing things flashing. So, yeah, I think we'll take Grievous over to siege Coruscant. Should be absolutely fine there, look at the pop cap. And yeah, we'll have a look over at Fost with Duolingo's fleet. Just make sure we're all good once again. Move over to Alderaan to begin with. So, a lot of defence. A lot of defence. Got a Golan, was this 2? Absolutely fine, not really worth mentioning, but of course, a lot of carrier capacity, big Praetor, and do have a couple victories. Quite likely able to bring in some reinforcements as well on top of that. We're certainly going to get some reinforcements from the orbital platforms. What do we want to start with? Well, I want to start with a lot of carriers. Certainly want to start with the carriers possible there. Let's get just a few like that. Is it worth... We'll get a lot more bombers and such out of the Lucrehulk, but that will take a lot of our pop cap. Generally see carrier Lucrehulks as defensive Lucrehulks rather than offensive, of course. A couple of these in. Bringing Duolingo right at the back here for his excellent command. We'll start with that to see how we're looking. So let's want a few more. Get a couple of these in. Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. Okay. I think the plan will be to bring in a few more of these. Spread them out a little bit. And what we'll do is we'll start jumping them out later on so we can bring in some big boys. Some more bulwarks. Such later on. Once again, there's not much the Republic can do to hurt us in the grand scheme of things. So, I'm not too bothered about losses. Just rather not lose heroes, even at this point of the game. So, what we'll do is we'll move in, of course, with the fighters to begin with. Lovely stuff. You can see they have a massive amount of their own fighters and bombers. Lovely stuff. Group these up. And we'll go for... We'll go for the Venator first. See they're gathering all of their pelters and point defense around the Praetor. So that does leave this lovely Venator open there. And they're refusing to move using the step or orbital platforms to their advantage there. That's absolutely fine. Gives us a chance to replen and swap out any lost bombers and such. Let's move these in a tad. Don't need to rush in there. Screen a tiny bit. These massive turbo lasers will have terrible accuracy against our fighters. So we can linger there for a tiny bit. Wait for our bombers to catch up. Seem to have grouped our tri-fighters with our bombers. That's not a problem. Okay, so we'll send a small group of fighters over here and a slightly larger group of fighters right towards their bombers and such. And that Venator is looking away. Should get a lovely broadside attack with our bombers if it continues to turn. Okay, these tri-fighters can help over here. Looks like we pulled most of the standard fighters. Keep forgetting their names. It's Hyena Bombs and Vulture Droids. Do you see the massive amount of rockets coming out now? We did aim very centrally, so any splash damage from the bombs should be spread fairly well. They can see the terrible accuracy actually going to spread it for us. And that will rip apart that broadside of that Venator. Look at that. Absolutely disgusting there. So we're going to pull out once again. And we might actually, rather than destroy that Venator outright, we're going to try and go for the victory over here. It's a little bit of a cheeky tactic. Did destroy the engines there. Looks like they're just going to go for them anyway. Lovely stuff. Let's pull back now for the centre of the Victory. It's always an excellent sight to see so many rockets come out there. Never gets old. The accuracy there, not amazing. Not quite stripping the shields as we'd liked, and maybe we should have brought in from a greater range because the bombs aren't quite dropping just yet. Let's bring over a couple fighters, not all of them. If we can get hold of them there, that'd be great. Lovely stuff. Let's get rid of these gunboats over here. Removing the main structure from the Victory there. And if we can bring in a couple bulwarks in a second, then they can deal with the Pricer and such later on. Lovely stuff. Very happy to destroy that Victory outright. Might as well go for this Acclimator as it pushes in here. It's very isolated, so we'll take advantage of that. Do we have fighters over here to deal with this? We certainly do. Come over here. Have we needed to replan anything just yet? Well, I don't know why I've got an isolator unit all the way over the top there. Looks like we didn't quite fire out with our rockets there. Just going to try again. Okay, if that's going to be the case... No, they're going now. We're just going to pull them out. Look at that. And everything's so squashed in on the Acclimator that you can just get to such a critical mass of bombs. And that will deal with it very handily there. So we're going to take a small time to let the cooldown and the weapons reload. And what we'll do is... We're still looking at that Venator. Interesting. Just try and just tie up some bombers over here. Just throwing away those fighters, but not a problem at all. Yeah, you can see we're replacing over here. That's absolutely fine. Once again, massive volley coming in for this Victory, and largely missing once again. It told me bombers were effective. Still a little worried about this Pricer coming in. Shouldn't be much of a bother though. Gonna ruin this Victory. So, let's take our bombers and actually go for this dreadnaught. And that Pricer will rip apart everything here. So, I think we're just gonna destroy this minor gunship and then we can pull out with a couple of these carriers. Pull out with these. That will unfortunately take away any bombers attached to them, so we'll probably see some disappear in just a second. But they have unleashed the payload, so that's absolutely fine. We do see some disappear. And I think we will remove this group as well. And now that we have a flank, let's go over here with two bulwark 2s. And we'll come over here with bulwark 1 and a munificent. And they can deal with the Carracks and Arctons. So if we go over here, deal, I think, with the engines first actually, so that we can immobilise that. These seem to be in range of just the corvettes there actually, so we won't do power to weapons just yet. Again, taking movement orders, and the Praetor is actually able to get its guns far in there on the flank. Okay, let's go for that Arctons. Lovely stuff. Somewhat whittling away at the shields here. Okay, let's bring in these now that they're on the flank and get all power to torpedoes. Very quickly losing these ships. Rather a shame. Do you see some pelters coming in for some minor support now, but they won't be able to keep up too much. And there we go. All power to torpedoes there. Do excellent damage against any remaining shield power they have. Do need to get rid of the quad turbo lasers now because they're going to absolutely rip us apart. Absolutely rips apart. So we just need to micro that a tiniest bit. Get these in for some more carry. And we'll get some heavy turbo lasers down once again on this side. Lovely stuff. Lovely, lovely stuff. That carrot's probably doing more damage than we'd like to admit. But still nowhere near as much damage as the heavy quad turbo lasers of the Praetor. You can see we're losing some health and therefore hard points on our bulwarks. Lovely stuff. Okay, so if we maneuver these around and actually help deal with these on the sides, because it looks like we're not going to be doing too well against those there. And that will whistle us down too much. Here is some more of these. Lovely stuff. That will really slow down their damage output. How are we doing for hard points over here? Still got a fair few. Want to bring over some fighters, thank you. There we go. Looks like we're pretty much dealt with these supporting vessels over here. Let's get on the flank over here then. And that Praetor's pretty much down. Lovely stuff. So we're bringing Duolingo now. There's some extra range. He's got some excellent range actually there. So we're just bringing over here to screen. Lovely stuff. I'd love to be able to just get rid of this ship now because it's only got some light laser cannons left there. Not a problem. Let's get rid of that carrot because that will be doing more damage once again. We'd rather admit. And there is the Praetor. Excellent stuff. So it's just a case of cleaning up now. Making sure we consolidate our forces, get rid of the central units over here, still have that damaged Venator, and then it's just battering, of course, the remaining ships here. So, what do we want to do? I think we might want to free up some pop cap, refresh some units, although they don't take up the greatest pop cap. They're taking 5, so that's 15 we could free up. I think just for some fresh fighters and bombers, really. So we'll remove these. Well, actually, much better than that ground battle, of course. We know our strength. So only lost to the 4 carriers there, which is absolutely fine. We can certainly take that. They come 10 a penny. So, next order of business is, I think, just get the orbital space over Coruscant. Don't give the enemy too much time to recoup and build anything over Fost. So, if we take Coruscant, or at least the orbital space around that, it is the harder nut to crack out of that and Kaikelius, which are the 2 gateways into Fost. But again, we're going to do this for the flavour and the fun, just to really hit hard home exactly that we are winning. So let's double check exactly what we do have with Grievous. Do want to reinforce with anything in particular there? Shouldn't really do. We've got 2 subjugators, Providence Dreadnaught, and we do have 3 standard Providences, 8 captors. I really think that's absolutely fine. So if we do lose that, then that's just terrible, really, isn't it? So just build that for the sake of it. And just double check, we do not have a Pathfinder. I think I want to make the Pathfinder a carrier. Let's get going. So, enemy capital planet. Should be a tough nut to crack. They have a Haven class or Valor class station. Very nasty indeed, and some more minor defences around it, but of course nowhere near as horrible a standing fleet as previously. But of course we will be seeing a lot coming out of this Valor, so lots of corvettes, fighters and such, some fighters coming out of the Golden One, and this is a heavy frigate shipyard, so this will bring out a lot of more minor ships itself. Going to come up a tiny bit closer than previously with this, and I think really we can just start with Grievous. Why wouldn't we? Well, we can't see him at the moment, so let's... how much pop is the Providence Dreadnoughts? Too much at the moment. Okay. We will, of course, bring out a lot of carriers, because these are going to be victory for us. Of course, bring out all of these. Why not? So, misjudging the space needed there. We can't see Grievous. That's a bit of a bugger. That's a bit of a bugger. Got too much stuff here. That's a good problem to have. Stormfleet destroys a lot of proton torpedoes there. Would have helped against that Praetor, actually. So, I want Grievous for the command, really. I know we have a subjugator. Might as well just bring it in. There we go, of course you can see him now. What else do you want to bring in then? Some... I want to bring in... I don't have a lot of pop to deal with here, so I think a couple munificence for some extra aid there. See how we're looking. Let's bring in a couple of diamonds, or at least the one. So very centralised fleets here. Very, very centralised indeed, but of course we are hoping the bombers and such will carry us, as ever. Should be the doctrine. I see some Venices coming in there actually, and a lot of these Carracks and Dreadnoughts cruisers coming, but it shouldn't be able to stand up to us too much. Got to remember this isn't Grievous, so we're not getting his amazing, is it tier 2 command? Yeah, that tier 2 command will be missed. They're sending in one Dreadnought by itself. That super heavy ion cannon is going to absolutely screw over its shields. With that instantly drained there. And we just rip apart those hard points as we need to. Let's bring up the munificence there so they can get some good range. And of course, they're going to start with their own fighters and bombers now. So where did that diamond go? Of course, a single diamond's not going to do the job, but we do have to remember that our carriers do provide some point defense themselves. So there is a reason to bring them up a tiny bit ahead here. Put the munificence a little towards the back there. Okay, so what can we fire at with our subjugator? Only really this acclimator is in range at the moment, some worth firing at. Looks like we've shot ahead of the bombers. Lovely stuff. Okay, let's pull back there. Okay, let's just take 1 or 2 units over here. Get some minor micro going. Yeah, you can see they're dealing with our shields already. Lovely stuff. Lovely acclimator down. I believe that was a carrier acclimator. Certainly was. You can see a lot more of their bombers coming in now. Let's bring our own bombers to the flank down here. Push up with our own point defense. Should not be shy with that. Let's see if we can get on top of their bombers. We are lessening fire, unfortunately. Don't like that. And if they're going to come in piecemeal, we could certainly sit and wait. You know, a handful of bombers is not going to rip apart the subjugator's massive 25,000 shield capacity there. So if we are patient enough, we can just sit and wait around for those shields to replenish. And let's see if we can get in the back of anything. I'd love to hit that venison maybe with these bombers. Because there's just a bit of cover over here. Let's in fact go for this dreadnought because I think we should be fine over there. Just press stop here. Push up a little with these supporting craft. Push up over here. Don't like to isolate anything ourselves. I'll just bring over a couple of these fighters here. There we go. Okay, so it looks like our bombs are going to struggle a tad here. Let's pull back. It's absolutely fine. Take our time. Subjugator onto the acclimator, please. There's too many pelters over here, I think, to deal with these ships, with our bombers. You can see the Corellian corvettes and such coming in here to deal with this as well, so just pull back a tad. Lovely stuff. We should really get a control group up here and start firing onto the... Actually, let's go for the pelters here with the munificence. The massive cannons from the subjugator can deal, of course, with the larger ships, as it bloody should do. And I think we'll just charge in for that Venator with our bombers. Just distract with a couple units over here, these incoming ships. Okay, let's see how we're doing against these extra pelters. Lovely stuff. Ramming that Venator down. Absolutely disgusting. I think we should capitalise on that lack of shielding now. Move over to this over here. Thank you. Able to get both of these super heavy iron cannons out. Okay, let's just push over here a tad. Try and deal with these more minor ships once again. What exactly is lacking in health? This particular pelt is lacking. Let's deal with that very quickly. Subjugator, please finish off the Venator over here. It's got some proton torpedoes to deal with. And they do add up. Really, really do add up. Lovely stuff. What else could we deal with now that's lacking in shield power? This over here is going to get ripped apart. Okay, let's deal with Carrack, please, because that does have some heavy turbo lasers to deal with us. And then we'll deal with some pelters. Looks like they have a repair pelter about, so we can focus that in just a second. I think we can probably batter through the repairs on this one before we focus the other. Okay, so let's focus now on... I think we'll go for this acclimator. Bombers, please go for this. Shields are weakened. And now we can go for the repair pelter, was this one. Lovely stuff. Really pummeling last acclimator. We're losing our shields, but they're not down just yet. Let's try and get our carriers actually. We're going to start losing carriers. Not too much of a bother. Once again, they come 10 a penny. Starting to take a lot of damage onto our munificence though. And that's because of these massive amounts of support frigates over here. We have in fact lost a munificent there. Is it worth bringing in a Omni? I don't think we've really got anything worth or able to keep up with repairing. Let's bring in some pursuit destroyers over here. They'll do quite well against the enemy light frigates. And that's the last of the enemy's larger ships dealt with. So we'll just start bombing some Carracks, I think. Some isolated Carracks. Here's auxiliars onto the pelters. Unfortunately though, the concussion missiles won't do too well against that, but the rest of the small lasers will. Looks like our bombers have been able to roam pretty much unimpeded there. Got some idle ships over here, it's not amazing. You can see, pretty sure we're getting some good laser fire onto these bombers at the back there, which is great. And I think, what can we focus here? Let's get that Carrack over here. Don't quite have the accuracy to deal with more minor ships there, unfortunately, with a subjugator. Might have to now. Let's get that Carrack. And that, you know, pretty much over as quickly as it started. We now pretty much just have the orbital defences now, the platforms. Coming in with our fighters to support there, are we? Lovely. Great stuff. So, we'd love to be able to jump these out because they're pretty much without function now, these munificents. But we can push in with all of these, just blob move those for now. Not ideal, of course. Get onto these bombers. We can start focusing the Valor. And there we go, very, very nice losses on our side, if I may say so myself, very acceptable indeed. So with the orbital space of Coruscant now open, we can move Duoningo's fleet over into a spare slot. We can consolidate all of our, I don't want him in a land force, we're going to consolidate all of our nearby ground units over here. And we're not going to take Coruscant as per the plan. We are in fact going to go straight for Fost, which should not be too difficult. Only have some minor defences over there, mostly orbital stations, and once again we do have a lot of ships over here. You can see the pop over here, 1.2 thousand pop. That's pretty bloody go. And with that, they do once again have another Valor station, and that's pretty much it. So let's bring in, I think I want to go for the Providence Dreadnaught, because we've very rarely seen that in this particular playthrough after losing Admiral Trench, which was rather silly to start with actually. Shouldn't have done that. A couple of these, lovely stuff. And I think how much. I do like using bulwark twos, I really do. But I think just some minor punching power, we're going to go for some standard bulwarks and munificence at the back. Maybe some dreadnought heavy cruisers for some minor support and some tiny carrying capacity once again. But certainly more than needed to take on the Valor and the dreadnought shipyard there. Absolutely brilliant fleet. Love to see it. Love to see it. A lot of fighters and bombers are going to come out of this Providence dreadnought. And of course we do have these standard destroyer carriers over here to bring in 1 or 2 squads or less each, which is great stuff. So final defense for the Republic. Gotta like these stock non-painted Venators over here without the color schemes. I believe you can find these models actually in the base game. They come out from pirate stations in skirmishes and such. Didn't have much of a role, but they were fun to use. Just going to absolutely batter this victory as it comes in here. It's interesting to see that we don't have much more durability than the victory on our dreadnoughts over here. Much more carriers rather than tanks or anything else, as you could probably well expect. So let's simply attack, move forwards, get on top of these Arctons and such before we move our bombers and such in. Or the tri-fighters get too overeager there. Lovely stuff. You can get some excellent cinematic shots. So yeah, we should be finishing this campaign with the overthrow of Fost. Finally, feels like we've been doing this campaign for quite some time now. But the plan originally was to go into a Thrawn's Revenge campaign, quite likely playing as Zinj. Please do let me know in the comments. I might throw out a poll to see if you guys are interested in that, but it'd be great to see it in some comments to get some direct feedback on that idea. Go straight for the Valor with our bombers there. Very much enjoy playing a Zinj campaign. It's quite unique. It's got a very interesting roster. Yeah, we need to micro this a little harder there. Yeah, they've battered the front of our Providence there with those bombs. We do get point defense out of these, don't we? We do. Just not enough. Just not enough. That's absolutely fine. Okay, we're going to have to watch out for these bombers once again. Get the tri-fighters up. Just go ahead there, screen our bombers. And I think we get these fighters out from the bulwarks. Then we just sit and batter away at the Valor. So the ground invasion here is going to be interesting. They have a lot of mercenary infantry, and they do have Commander Rex by the looks of things. And he will provide some very good command for the enemy, as well as being quite the adversary himself. Have to think about what we want to use to destroy him. I don't generally recruit Staps, as you've seen. Staps would do a good job against him. Make a fair go. I think Spider Walkers as well would be pretty decent. Okay, so now that we've bogged down the majority of their fighters and such, we can move in with the rest of our units. Try not to bunch up too much, and we'll sort that out as we get in closer. Moving over here, tie up everything we can and make way for our bombers even more there. Much clearer path. The bombers can certainly do some good work against the shield capacity of the Valor. Start going for some specific hard points. Doing some great work against the cloak shapes over here and the Y-wings. Just waiting for a very slow movement speed here. Move as slow or as fast as the slowest unit. And there we go, victory as expected. We're just going to consolidate everything now, as we already have. Just get these units over once again, pick up Ventress and such. And that should be the final victory on the way now. Bit of a lack of AATs, but we do have some Octoptaras over there. We don't really need AATs if we're going to be fighting largely infantry though. Rex is going to be a bit of a problem, depending on what units we have to deal with him. We will be seeing a lot of walkers and ULAVs coming out of these light factories. So quite likely going to be starting in the northern sector over here. Might want to come down straight over once again to the planetary shield generator to deal with that and be able to bring in bombardments and such, just to clear out Rex and such a little easier here. We see the mercenary platoons largely with actually with quite a mix of weaponry there. A lot of heavy AV missile launchers, so actually going Octoptaras not necessarily the best option there, especially since they are very specialised against heavy vehicles themselves. Not going to have the accuracy that we need, but of course we do have Dooku and Ventress, and we do have gunships galore as well, which will rip apart the clones there. We still need to clear out Alderaan, which is a bit of a bother, because they have actually fielded another space station over here. So what we'll do is we will keep Grievous over Coruscant so that we don't lose that anytime soon. Space there. What we'll do is we'll bring this unit from Kulura all the way around to Corrida and then retake the orbital space over Alderaan. Really should have thought about that. Just kept a couple corvettes or something over there to think about that. But it's really not a problem. We can just auto through that at this stage of the game. Not too bothered really about losing much. What are we on? Cycle 180. Massive way through the game. We still have a couple independent planets at the back over here. Here we go. What exactly do they have? Can't really see. So also through that, losing the one recusant, absolutely not a problem. And that means we can walk straight on over to Fost and take that. Once again, we should then get the political option to take a victory later on once we've taken the planet there. So, a very interesting shape map this actually. Okay, so where possible I'd like to bring in a hero. Should be able to scroll down really. Let's bring in some Mandalorians, and that will bring in a Asajj Ventress. Lovely stuff. She's very, very good indeed. We'll bring in some gunships. Do you know what? That might pretty much just do us, to be honest. A lot of infantry to start with. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Infantry, gunships are the way to go, as ever. Press fast forward to get things going. Couple infantry guns there. Lovely stuff. Group up a few things. And we're being under fire already. Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. Got some ULAVs to decimate here with our HMPs. We do see some gunships out already. Interesting. That would be from an abandoned factory of some sort. We can certainly deal with them. Very nice indeed. A saber tank as well. Okay, interesting. Not a problem. Have we seen... Thought I heard a Rex, but of course Ventress does have the assassinate ability, which will do massive damage to a single hero unit, of course. So if we can look after her, she'll do very well against Rex himself. Lovely stuff. We're going to be relying then on these HMPs. Should have thought about the enemy armour threat to begin with. Not a problem. Not a problem. But it's just a case of whistling. We do have the shields as well to hit and run with these HMPs, and they will absolutely murder enemy infantry like that. And these massive numbers you can bring them in with. But we do need to worry about the mercenary platoons, which do have a massive amount of AV missile launchers out the gate. And they will hurt us, as well as these clones. They can bypass our shields with those missile launchers. But the massive amount of concussion launchers coming out here. Let's just pull back with this one. We'll back over here and actually make a repair station would be great. How we're doing the rest of us. Actually pretty damn healthy. See another speeder. Got to murder the speeders. Absolutely hate those bastards. Yeah, if we just create this a repair station here, that will pretty much give us a victory right there. So what do we see? Just more clones, more walkers, more ULAVs, and we're going to be seeing no shortage of those in this particular battle. Let's try then. Actually use our infantry as well as Ventress. Let's see. Actually start making a push would be an idea, wouldn't it? Okay, Ventress, start moving please. Really got to get onto these mercenary platoons because they are limited and they are very dangerous. The quicker we can whistle those down the better. Absolutely the case. So we're going to start losing one of these. Don't like that. Let's replace. Okay, let's get on top of here. Going to start losing the chaff. Where's Ventress? She needs to start dealing with some of these mercenaries. What have we got over here? The Mandalorians would actually be rather useful. And now we're starting to miss micro once again. Little Miss Micro. And that looks a bit like Rex. Lovely stuff. Let's try and assassinate him. And... did that miss? Did that ruddy bloody miss? It did as well. Okay, let's get Ventress and the HMPs onto him. And he should go down fairly easily. Come on. Come on. Can't miss him. Can't miss him. Gotta be greedy. Gotta be greedy. Come on. Got to remove that commander. There we go. Lovely stuff. Let's just pull back, take stock of what's going on. Get rid of this ULAV. Thank you very much. I think a repair station here, just so we can push forwards a tiny bit more there. That's lovely. So how's Ventress doing now? Just held up a tad here. We can use our ability here just to quickly wipe out those units. Lovely stuff. Looks like we have some pop cap to spare. I'd like to use that then on some sort of armor, and the best armor is always just AATs, of course. Gotta love AATs. Just protect our flanks here. I think what we'll do is bring some Mandalorians over here, create an infantry turret there, and we can start finally pushing down. Move Ventress, she's very quick, onto that command post. Lovely stuff. In fact, we've got a couple infantry guns over here. If we can, that's going to get destroyed immediately. Lovely stuff. Would have liked to make perhaps a vehicle turret there, but not a bother. Lovely stuff. Sis over here. How's Ventress doing? Doing alright. Doing alright. How to start ruining this though. Okay, it's pretty much just a walkover now that we've dealt with large parts, I think, of the mercenary troops. Got some more over here. If we do a Zinj campaign, we'll be seeing a lot of the Imperial gunships coming through because those absolutely murder a lot of units. Gotta love the use of gunships in this game. Okay, so let's just build this, protect our flanks. And the AATs can actually sit here and protect our flanks because you will have to come back up with our units, pretty much double back on ourselves. There is an infantry path through here, that's still just double backs. Let's come around over here. Let's bring in some dwarves and some crabs, I think. What have we got? Yeah, okay, we did not see the anti-air weapon there, so we're going to lose some gunships. That's not good. That's okay, we can deal with that. Certainly deal with that. We lost one. In the infantry here, backed up by the dwarf spiders, we'll certainly deal with some units over here. Let's get rid of the anti-infantry gun. Do you have an abandoned heavy vehicle factory? I'll bring our AATs for us. Lovely, let's just get rid of this. Deal with the turrets just because they're annoying. Lovely stuff. Now we can focus this down very nicely indeed. Have healed up with our HMPs. Might as well capture this. We just stand over here. Yeah, that has captured it. Lovely stuff. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Now we're dealing with over here. Dealt with our turrets apparently. Okay, and we'll certainly deal with this for the sake of reducing their structures. Lovely stuff. So let's pull back and regroup. As we start moving down here, we have another anti-air death trap to deal with. It looks like we've nearly lost a gunship there, pulled it out just in time. Enemies having a bit of a meeting over here by the refinery station, which is an interesting decision. Certainly an interesting one there. If we healed up here, we certainly have. Bring back the gunships. We'll just do a slow push through that canyon, really hurting our pathing. What have we got? Let's get rid of the anti-tank weapon there. Get rid of the walker as well. Would be great. Lovely stuff. Gotta love it. Send the crab droid straight on top of the command post there. We've got a walker stuck in place. Our rabbit gets like that when she's not on a carpeted floor. And now it's just a straight walk through into the enemy base to absolutely obliterate their final buildings. So what we can do is just a very brain-dead blob attack move straight into the enemy base, bring down the orbital bombardments. Watch out actually for the flank over here, because now they're paying attention. So just press stop over here, protect our flank. Get the HMPs over here and melt the infantry. Lovely stuff. What have we got over here? Just some infantry to deal with. Where's Ventress? What's she doing? Not too much. Unfortunately, we do need some help over here because it's very basic infantry. Let's pull down with the AATs because they do have some good siege cannons on them to deal with the vehicles and buildings. We'll start pulling up over here. Now, this is the main Senator's office, so we'll bombard that to save a bit of time. Get on top of the light factories to stop seeing the walkers come out. Lovely stuff. And for good measure, we're bringing a bombing run onto this unit over here, this building. We have that tax collection agency to deal with as well. I'll just deal clockwise over. Lovely stuff. Seeing the bombing run come in. AAT's being very slow. Let's move those independently. Shouldn't make any difference now though. That bombing run might actually have caught the Senator's officers if we'd thought about that, but not a problem. And then it's just a case of mopping up any standing infantry left, which our HMPs can certainly do very nicely indeed. See a lone walker over here, do we? Obliterate that. I can't quite get the cursor on there. And we'll just trap them in the canyon. Seeing some final clone troopers, some shock riflemen actually. Very nasty unit. Move down here. Get rid of these. Concussion missiles will do excellent against them. Get on the corners to actually get some sight. Get firing properly. That really should be it. Are we firing properly there? I don't think we are. Let's move up. Get onto these mercenaries. We've got a lot of these mercenaries. Using every platoon that they can, aren't they? Got down here another turret. Is that not it? That was very interesting that that's not it. Whoa, a skim around it's going to have to be then. It looks like we've just missed. An abandoned factory over here has made sure that they've got some sort of unit over here. We're dealing with that. It's a jail speeder. Not managed to take off apparently. It's actually rather comical. So, let's see what we can do about. Faction has conquered all major shipyards. You may declare victory from the political options menu. And I think we're certainly going to do that. Before we press that, let's take stock of exactly what we've done. We have conquered basically everything. We only have a few Republic planets left, of course, including Coruscant. We're not going to take that. Just going to be too much of an effort for what it's worth now. And of course, Anaxis, Arcania, Caecilius, and Alderaan, really minor in the grand scheme of things now. Not providing anything else for them. We've obliterated the rest of the galaxy. Only a couple more minor planets, Jago and Zambar over here, stand independent. But we could certainly deal with that. We've lost a couple heroes. We've lost Admiral Trench and Pre Vizsla, but that's about it. And those are due to some rather silly mistakes, as we've seen throughout the game. If we go to faction statistics, we have 44 tax collection agencies with excellent, lots of mining facilities, and yeah, just 88 total planets owned. Absolutely disgusting. So if we find a political options menu now, and there we go, that'll be victory. If we press play, watch that go through. And yeah, we've got the rank of civilians. Terrible, outstanding result there. But I think we can certainly deal with that, as the galaxy is now certainly ours. So, thank you very much everyone for watching. Please do let me know in the comments if you'd like to see any more Empire at War content in the future. That'd be absolutely amazing if we could. Otherwise we'll start thinking about something else. But thank you very much for those who stuck through the series. It's been very fun to play through this game. Been playing since the game's release back in 2006, I believe it was. So that's all for today, and may all of your nights and days be auspicious. Goodbye.